You've probably seen these types of videos pop up on TikTok. Quick, engaging, almost hypnotizing content talking about countries, cities, flags, and facts that just pull you in. And every time I saw one, I kept asking myself, how are these so simple yet so viral? Well, guess what? I figured it out. You don't have to waste hours trying to reverse engineer these videos because that's exactly what I've already done for you. I've dived deep, pulled apart the process, tested it myself, and now I'm going to break it down, step by step. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to make these kinds of videos yourself. I'm calling this the geography niche. Yeah, maybe not the most glamorous name, but hey, it's accurate. And if you think of something better, drop it in the comments. The point is, we're creating videos that revolve around countries, regions, flags, and interesting global trivia. And these are taking off on TikTok and YouTube Shorts like wildfire. The best part? It's a 2-for-1 deal. You make the video once, and you can post it on both TikTok and YouTube. Double the platforms, double the reach, without doubling the work. That's why I call this a win-win. Before I dive into the how, I want to show you some proof that this works. There are pages, literally accounts that didn't exist a few months ago, that are now racking up tens of thousands of followers just by posting these kinds of videos. One TikTok page I found recently jumped to 83,000 followers in no time, and all they do is talk about countries, rankings, facts, and news, just like what I'm showing you here. The engagement is insane too. People love learning bite-sized facts about the world, and it makes sense. There's something satisfying about discovering a weird law from Switzerland or a record-breaking mountain in Nepal. It makes people stop scrolling for a second, and that's what this whole game is about, getting people to stop. So how do you find ideas for these videos? Honestly, this is the easiest part of the process. You don't have to be a news anchor or a history professor. You just need a tool, and we've all got it, ChatGPT. Yeah, you heard me. I just pop open ChatGPT, ask it to generate topics about different countries, trending cities, or even current events, and boom, I have a list of ideas ready to go. You can even go with global news, especially if you can react quickly. Just imagine dropping a quick TikTok about something trending in another country that no one else is covering yet. That's a fast track to going viral. Sometimes I'll even ask ChatGPT super specific prompts like, give me 10 interesting facts about small countries in Europe, or what's the most remote city in Africa? And it always delivers. There's literally no excuse to run out of content ideas in this niche. Here's an example. One of the ideas I generated with ChatGPT was about the coldest city in the world. That's it. Super simple topic, but it makes people stop scrolling. So I used ChatGPT again to create a short, snappy script. Now, I don't just copy and paste it. I always tweak the words, inject some personality, make it sound like me. That way it doesn't feel robotic, and the audience stays engaged. I read through the script, pick out the parts that sound a bit too AI, and rework them. Sometimes I'll add a joke or a personal reaction. Like if I read that a place gets colder than a freezer, I might add, colder than my ex's heart, just to get a chuckle. The idea is to sound human. The more natural it sounds, the more people stay watching. Now that I've got the script, the next thing I do is turn it into a voiceover. I use 11 Labs for this. It gives me a clean, clear voice with a natural accent. And there are plenty of voices to choose from depending on the vibe you're going for. Once the voiceover is ready, it's time to gather the visuals. This is where it gets exciting, because we're not just grabbing random footage. We're building a full-on geographic experience. First thing I do is get a cool world map view. There are 2 ways I do this. The first one is Google Earth Studio. This tool is a game changer. After signing up, I just search the place I want to zoom into, say the coldest city in the world, which is in Russia. And then I get this super cool animation that zooms in from outer space down to that exact location. I usually set the zoom duration to about 5 seconds, and once that's ready, I just render and download it. Done. The second site I use is ArcGIS Online. You get a clear, high-quality map of the world, and you can zoom in or search for any country or city. Then I add some spice, flag images, map shots, and cool visual icons. For that, I go to flaticon.com. This site is gold. I can grab icons that match the topic of the video, whether it's a thermometer icon for cold or a globe for geography facts, and use those during editing. I even go further sometimes and download country outlines, vector maps, or even historical flags if the video calls for it. These little touches add so much polish and make the content feel intentional instead of rushed. At this point, I've got the script, the voiceover, the animations, and the graphics. Now it's time for editing. This is where everything comes together. To make the actual animations, I open up Adobe After Effects. I know, it sounds intimidating, but once you do it once, it becomes super easy. I create a vertical video composition, 1080 by 1920 for shorts, and then I drop in the map image. Adjusting the size and positioning is easy from the settings panel. Then I bring in the specific country map, in this case, Russia, and match it with the base map. Once both are aligned, I pre-compose them, and that's when the real animation begins. I animate the zoom by adding scale keyframes. I smooth it out with F9, add a little rotation with the R key, and it starts looking professional. I also animate opacity, so the map fades in and out smoothly. Then I zoom even further into the exact city, like Oymyakon, the coldest city on Earth. Now for the highlight, I use the ellipse tool to create a circle around the city. I animate this circle using the stroke and trim path settings. Then I add some glow for that polished look. The effect is super sleek, makes the viewer feel like they're on a high-budget travel documentary. I even add a text layer with the city's name, animate its position and opacity, and tweak the easing to make it feel dynamic. Then I slap a flag icon in the middle of the circle, animate its opacity too, and the whole thing comes alive. When all that's done, I export the animation and head over to CapCut. This is where the final magic happens. I start a new project in 9:16 format vertical and import all my assets: voiceover, animations, maps, stock videos. I line up the voiceover first, then place the visuals in sync. Adding captions is super easy in CapCut. I just use the auto caption tool, tweak the font and colors to match the vibe, and then add some entrance animations so the text feels like it's dancing with the visuals. Finally, I drop in a bit of background music. Nothing too loud, just enough to keep the energy up. Sometimes I even throw in ambient sounds, wind blowing, birds chirping, a distant train, depending on the location I'm showcasing. These subtle audio cues make the video more immersive, even if the viewer doesn't consciously notice them. And that's it. That's the whole process. And now you know exactly how to turn it into a killer video. If you've stuck around till the end of this video, thank you. I know it was a lot, but now you've got all the tools you need to dive into the geography niche with confidence. Whether it's global rankings, bizarre facts, or trending news from halfway around the world, there's an audience for this. And you're ready to serve them. Like and share this video to help more people discover the fascinating world of geography content.